6:31. All right, 6:31. We can have a meeting start here. I saw those cars out there. I was like, I don't think there's anything controversial on our agenda.
Yeah.
The budget?
Yeah. All right. Call to order. We do not have any members of the public here, so we don't have any public comment. No appointments. No statutory advisory business. So we are going right into old business. Dock boxes. I guess we had that kind of left over from our last meeting. I'm going through the minutes. I'm not sure if that was something we needed to have on here or not. So.
Well, because Lynn has the two, and we said that January was a better month, I guess, to go out to put them up. And I think somebody else had some extra ones too. Maybe you have some too.
Yeah, Matt's, okay. How many? I've got two. I got one.
You have one?
Actually, I think I have two.
Okay.
I think I may have two. I was right in the shed the other day too. I looked right at them. I can't tell you how many over there, but there's at least one. Yeah, it's too bad because right now with this weather, I mean, this is the kind of weather we need to make sure the ponds are frozen. But it's going to be 50 on Thursday, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just now getting frozen.
Yeah, right. You know, it's great right now when the ponds clear, the ice, there's no snow on them, and they're really getting some ice on the ponds. But
So just continue it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the weather gets better.
You said you have the map, the original map.
I do.
Is that something we can give to Sarah and put a layer on? I mean, they'd have to digitize it obviously because I think it's, as we said, it's still in Eber's footsteps.
I think that if we're going to put it on a layer, when we go out and change the bedding and actually service them and put up the new ones, we should waypoint every single one.
Okay.
And
they don't care what datum we give it to them, right?
what type of...
The datum. They don't really concerned. It comes out of your phone. It comes out of a GPS. They're not really too terribly concerned. They can pretty much convert all of it.
You would think they could convert all of it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give them the location of my shed.
Okay.
Go out there with the binoculars.
So I guess we probably should discuss where they are and how many we have. But, you know, it's going off. I know there's 3 in Listoka Pond. 2 in Long Pond. 3 in White Pine Swamp. And then once you get over to Greater, we have...
There's
1 down. There's 1 under the ice.
that cul-de-sac pond doesn't have like any dead trees anymore.
But there's one. There's
on-
one in that around the
Yeah.
backside. If the hunters didn't blow it off the tree yet.
You're talking on the Bambi Trail side?
Yes.
The big
The
beaver pond?
not the lowest, but the
middle.
pond with the beaver hut and the observation deck.
The big pond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And
what used to
then
be the big pond.
and then you go up above a layer above that.
There's one
Yeah.
there.
There's two in that one.
Yeah.
And then the layer above that, there's 1. So there's 1,
1, 2.
4,
There's 1, 2,
and 1
4.
under the ice that we never fished out. And then you go into Greens Pond,
Right, I was going to say there's some there too, right?
and I know there are 2. I know of 2 of them. That's the one discrepancy I had with Eber's map.
You think there's how many in Greens Pond?
I know of 2.
Okay.
I've recently seen both of them, but the ice was inconsistent
Yeah.
to get to them.
Good. Don't go.
And with the water level, we're going to be
Yeah.
we're going to be working above our heads because the water came down so much.
Never put a ladder on the ice before.
Yeah, that would be super interesting.
There's a first for that.
Hopefully there's snow on the ice when you do that.
That'll be super interesting.
A good rope to tie off the bottom, for sure.
Okay. And so you think, and Eber's paperwork's got 3 in Greens Pond? you
It's
think?
got 4 in Greens Pond, and I only know of 2.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I mean, they, as we noticed, they weather and fall down and
yeah.
or become targets, and so there very well will even be 2 left.
So if we have 5 more, if you've 5 or 6 more,
Yeah.
we could get Greens Pond back up to 4 because there's a significant amount of standing trees.
Do you have the plans for those? I know they're not much, but there was a.
We bought them last time
Oh, that's
because
right.
they were so
Yeah.
cheap.
That's right. Yeah, because Andy had a plan for, the single 1x8 or whatever it was, rough hewn. It was cut here, cut here, cut here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't think we have. Maybe we do with Eber's paperwork
Yeah.
for the. But if we can get it on, when we
Right.
do go out and change it, get them all GPS, then we can forget about how many footsteps from
I'm gonna miss that.
the ponds. Yeah, that was. Well,
Old
we'll
school.
we'll definitely keep that.
Yeah,
That's a great. And it worked. I mean, I was
I know.
within steps of where the first one was, and I was like, okay.
All right.
But that's all I know of. I don't know of any others. And a member of actually your next door neighbor kept the White Pine Swamp ones last year. He changed the bedding and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we should definitely keep Harry and Lynn.
Lucy.
Lucy, yeah, and Harry, and then Lynn.
And yes.
Aware of when we do go out,
Okay.
just because those are the folks that have done that in the past, and I think if they want to join us, great.
Yep. Yeah, I know Harry will definitely be up for that. All right. Anything else on that? We good? Okay. The seedlings. I did find an error in there, so there's no, I don't know of any bush called a 9-back. It should be 9-bark. So I will fix that. Bob was very pleasantly pointed that out that I screwed that up, so. But prices actually went down a little this year, which is unusual, but nice. So we're still staying right. If you look back over time, we've always been 360 to 410, 420. We've been kind of right in that price range, and forgetting about the same amount of trees. So, and last year I wasn't there, as you know, but I failed to ask you to do something, which I always try to count how many we have left over, so we get an idea how many we gave away versus how many we're try to adjust it for the next
Wasn't
year.
that many?
Yeah, and I remember you saying there wasn't that many, so I'm like, well, okay, well then we're kind of hitting that mark, which is exactly what we want to be doing. Ultimate goal would be give everything away, or have a couple left over if we need something for projects. But I didn't really see any need to get more trees this year. So
Maples and pines are left over, I think. Right?
Yeah, it's the
Big ones.
stuff that you see
yeah,
growing in your yard that
Well-
people are the least interested in, I would say.
we spoke last year about there's been a huge rise in the maple sugaring, and the maple trees. I mean it damages the trees, and they do, their lifespan is greatly diminished, and so we did it last year with sugar maples, and figured we could do it again for another year, and then maybe next year we'll do something different. But if we want to change these, obviously we can, now's the time to, I don't have the catalog, didn't bring the catalog with me, I should have brought the catalog, but, I mean, there are obviously other seedlings in there. I mean, if people want to change, I was trying to stick to very native plants, ones that long-term, especially on the, things like some of the ones we've had in the past, when they grow, they just get woody, and if they're unkept, they just become a nuisance, bush that's not really pretty or anything like that. So we're trying to find some things that are a little more native.
I think that songbird wildlife package, I think those will be pretty popular.
Yeah. Well, so there's 5 of each in the package, so you end up with 20 total of each plant. We can, why don't we just increase it right off the bat? It's $30 a package. So we can go to 5. I mean, $80. We'd be $480. Or we can start taking away some of the other ones. There's the 50 quantity is the only reason I'm there is because that's where the first price break is. We can go down to 25 on some or all of them or any of them. If you want me to go down that direction, we can do that too.
I'm fine the way it is myself, but
Okay.
I mean, I'm wide open too. So, because I mean, if we are left over with spruces and pines, Scotch pine is actually not that common. So,
Yep.
if we end up with some Scotch pines left over, we should concentrate them in an area and create a Scotch pine grove or something like that on one of our properties. Not just put one plant and then put another one, half a mile away, because that doesn't do any good for the
Yep.
long-term viability. So,
Find a place where they supposedly grow real well
yeah.
and make a,
Yeah, put more than a few plants together, because they're so small, we'll probably have a mortality of half over time anyways, especially if something wants to browse on them in the middle of the winter.
Yep.
Right? So,
But I do see the bottom running out before the top, for sure.
agreed, yeah, the D.
Well,
so what's a 9 bark? That's a name I've not heard of. Is it
It's a-
deciduous or what?
yes, it's well.
I guess we-
Yeah, it could be better if to look it up. And
Right.
try to meet
I remember I
exact-
looked it up last year, but I can't. I think it was a bigger.
Yeah,
bush.
Flowering, white flowers. Native to North America.
that's what you get.
Yeah, I was just.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So. Yeah, it's a bush, white flowering bush. It grows out. When they're unkept, they can get rather large,
Yeah.
but they don't. They become a good thicket, but they do provide a lot of winter cover for animals, and they're relatively fragrant.
So it's more like a bush.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously, you can prune them and you can make them a little bit more tree-ish, but so
Move the list as presented, just to get it moving.
I mean, it's just what I think.
Yeah, okay.
I think the bottom will run out, and the top will have leftovers. But that's just from last year. From what it could be totally different next year.
Yeah.
well, if we want to change it, not now's the time. We got plenty of time to do it. I like to get the order in early, because then we're not on the what's your alternate. So we've only had that happen once. It didn't end up being a big deal, but
No.
Yeah, I mean, the only one I could see, the red oak. Get rid of that and get another 2 of the mixes, and then we're only up $10. We're back to 410.
It's fine with me. Yep. Yep.
Red oaks, you just go to any red oak that dropped acorns last year and go around it, and there's 50.
All right, so we're gonna get rid of the red oak and add 2 more Sonberg packages.
I think that's a good idea.
So they'll all be at 30. That sound good? Okay. And that's gonna fund that out of 53.
3. Second.
I think we have to have it first, don't we?
So moved.
And I'll second. How's that? Okay.
So, before by Matt and second by Tim. All right.
So the quantity in the bottom will be what now?
All right, so we're gonna get rid of that. You're gonna make me do math on the air. Thanks.
It'll be 410 again.
Yeah,
50 divided by,
so each of these will be 30 now.
okay. Yeah, great.
I promise I will set this back up and send it back out, but
Yeah.
I'm also gonna use it
Excellent.
to make the order. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. Let's
Want
see.
to vote?
Oh. So we have to move, okay, yes. All right, we have a motion, right? Second, good. All right, all those in favor? Aye?
All right.
All right, passes 6-0-0. 7, no, 6, there's only 6 of us. All right,
Yeah, Tom's delayed or busy tonight. So do we have the same arrangement for distribution? Or do we need to work on that?
I don't believe we do. I believe we have the same arrangement. I don't believe we have to work on it.
Okay.
So, the, John Newt retired, I don't know if you guys know, so we are going to have to change our method of picking it up. The two, Eber used to go up there and spend the afternoon with John and bring back the seedlings, so obviously that's not gonna happen any longer. I did speak with Trudy a while ago, and she's like, oh yeah, absolutely, come use the orchard anytime you want. So, obviously I wanna make sure that that's still gonna work out, but I don't have any reason not to believe so. So, typically we do this around Mother's Day, the Sundays right before Mother's Day, somewhere around there, so, again, time frame, everything's gonna be pretty much the same.
Okay.
So. Who said ecological? So we have, there's the. Yeah, we don't have anyone here anyway, so.
I didn't check the mailbox. I don't know.
Yeah, there was nothing in there. So we have 2 invoices from Moosewood Ecological. One we know about, for the, boy, we got a lot of things to sign here. Let me find it here, hold on a second. He finished up the ecological assessment for us, and then he spent actually a little bit more time on the Horse Hill Trail than he anticipated, and he would like to be compensated for that. So it's going to be the total of $225 when he went over, he spent some time looking over that trail reroute for us. So obviously I can't just say, yes, we're going to spend the money, but he already did the work, so we don't really kind of, rock and hard spot. So does everyone have any issue with me signing that off?
No. So I move the $225 to Moosewood for the Horse Hill study they did
Second. Cindy, all those in favor?
on 53.
Fund 53, yes. All those in favor, passes 600. Okay, thank you. I can get those signed. Wow, there's a lot of stuff there. We spent a lot of money this last month. Okay, I can do that.
So with the work on Continental Boulevard, has he given you a final report yet?
So, yeah, I sent it out.
The final? You sent out the preliminary.
Didn't you all get a copy of that? Didn't I send out the final? Just I don't know, like a week ago? 7 days ago? 7 days ago?
I don't recall
Police?
seeing it.
Yes, I that was the final. So,
Yeah, I think I remember seeing something.
I don't recall getting it, Gage.
okay.
Must have missed it.
I will, I can either resend it or.
Now, his deliverables for that project included hard copy too. And I think one copy and hard copy plus a GIS map. Can you confirm that he's gonna send those to Amy or something?
Yes, okay, hold on a second.
Yeah. Or would you like me to do that? It's up to you.
I can, if you know the deliverables off the top of your head and want to talk to him about it, that's fine, but I can certainly reach out to him and make sure.
I'd have to go back to the contract. I didn't bring that folder with me. But I have the folder at home if you want me to research it and send it to you.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Just, I want to,
Yeah.
because I don't believe that he's going to have any issue getting it to what he wants, but,
Yeah.
I don't know what today's date is. I'll have to get, when I get home, and look on a computer, on a real computer. Doesn't really count.
Yeah, when he finished up the other study from the previous year of the 3 properties, he gave us a DVD with all the data and all the reports and everything on it.
Okay.
I don't know if we actually ended up getting the hard copy of the reports. I may have told him that we could easily print them ourselves.
Yeah, I've told him that the last couple times that the stuff for us, we're gonna scan it and put it in the, folder anyway, so.
Yeah, I think what I've done, like with Amy with the last one, I had her print off a copy of everything so we could have a hard copy in our files.
Yeah.
Just one hard copy along with the CD, DVD, and just in
Yeah.
case the electronic version ever disappeared, or if one of us wanted to run in and go take a look at it, we could physically see it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, all right, well, I will, either way, we'll follow up and.
yeah. All right.
Okay. So I got a lot of stuff to sign tonight. So, all right, that's the only thing for that. The invasives, the invasive study, we talked originally briefly about going forward with some invasive study. And what was that gentleman's name you spoke with? Well, I guess it doesn't matter, but he was willing to go over and look at, or start looking at Gilmore Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris,
Huh?
yeah. Chris Kane.
Chris Kane, thank you. So is that, are we just waiting for
Waiting for the weather.
weather? Okay. Matt, you weren't here when we talked about this originally. He originally had some question about one of the trails over there. Do you know where?
I believe I do, and he generalized it
Yeah.
as a mountain bike trail,
Yeah.
but I think it's a quad trail that comes from the Fish and Game Club.
Okay. Is it on our property?
Um,
Or is it just on property that has a species on it that we're interested
well, if there's a species that we're worried about, the Fish and Game Club is logging that entire,
in? Yeah.
and I mean, if I was up there, and
It's
not much left.
no. Yeah, the only saving grace is the fact that it's so cold that something ground cover may survive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
So it's on their property, not.
Don't know.
Yeah, I know they did mark a boundary very well. Whether that boundary was accurate, I don't know, but they did a really good job of flagging an area.
yeah.
I don't know the area well enough. I was never out there with Jeff or anybody that had the
Have the
surveying coordinates marked off. So I don't know, but I believe the trail that's on our property, which the skidder took to get up,
Oh. I didn't realize that.
that's at one point, because there were tracks that were bigger than a quad on a trail that I believe is on our property.
All right.
You see the Greater Woods tracks?
Yeah, I told you that's the biggest skidder I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
That's why I
Untitled.
have not been up there yet, because I don't want to see that.
Yeah. Oh, it's a mess. I mean, it's a woods project, but
Yeah.
they're taking everything. All right. So we have to wait. We're gonna wait for the weather to
Yeah.
turn a little bit before that, so we can kind of delay this now. All right. It's not on here. I sent out Sarah. It should have been under the old business. It was that map review. I completely missed it Friday. So I sent it out to you probably moments before you guys got here. Sarah sent out another copy of the map. There's a whole list of things that they adjusted on there for us, and she had one question about that Plummer Trail. So I needed to kind of research that a little before I answer her, but
I think she's right.
yeah, I think she, yeah,
Line on the trail looks
yeah.
like what?
Right. Yeah, it looked good. I mean, we had some questions and comments about the first draft. I mean, obviously they fixed all that stuff. It looked pretty good. I was looking at it. The only thing I could really see on that is the width of the trail. You know, particularly on the bike trails that switch back a lot. Where they get close, they look like one trail because the border is gone. And I don't want people to think that they can. Oh well, this is where to shortcut down through. You know, we can just kind of shortcut down through here, because I'm sure, even on that map, although it looks really close, and you may be able to see where it is, but you're going to be, you know, walking through the woods to get from trail to trail. So I don't know if there's some way for them to either tighten up that, you know, make that scalable with the size of the map as you go, or make a, you know, hard boundary in there just to draw, some way to draw a hard boundary in between it so it stays there. But that was my only, I don't know. Obviously, if you guys have anything you want to add, just let me know and we can send it to her, because that's going to be the blueprint basically for the other maps. So
If you look at the connector trails that they're calling them, the ones marked in black,
yeah,
it looks like they almost use a different, for lack of better terms, like line font,
yeah, line type, yeah.
and that would likely not give that intersected look.
Okay.
You know what, my thought gauge is that you should let her know that that's a concern of ours,
Right.
and then see what they can do to resolve it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because they may have a totally different other idea. But
Most notably, though, the Twister Trail is where you see it happening a lot.
Oh, yeah.
See?
It does make it
Here.
confusing. Yeah.
And here,
Looks like it's
and
all
here,
connected. Yeah.
and here.
Mm. Yeah, right there.
That looks like a...
Yeah, like you go whoop.
Well, again, and it's not really a big deal, but where we've had, something we've said, oh yeah, this is no big deal. Everyone, when you're out there, you'll understand it, and then we find out that people didn't really understand it, and I'm looking at that, it's like, oh yeah, people think we can just like cut right down through here and make a shortcut, and they're going to get out there and be like, I have to like go through the trees and the woods and
Can't see
brush,
it.
and I can't
Yeah.
see, and
And a lot of us use vertical mulch to distinguish a turn.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
it's like a term, vertical. So if we can avoid that, I would just like to think we can. So, but yeah, if you guys can, if you take a minute and look that over, and the list of what they fixed, they did a nice job including it.
Yeah.
It's in the minutes too, but it's
Yeah.
also in the email. So, you can kind of just look it over, and if we have any more concerns or things that we want to add, subtract from it, then that would be, I can get that to Sarah, and I'd rather give her a list than the onesie twosie, but I don't think we're going to have a whole lot more. I mean, it looks like it's pretty good.
has the subcommittee seen this?
They haven't seen this one. I sent them the online
Yeah.
one that we had first, and then I just sent them the PDF yesterday. So I'll send them this updated one. I said they hadn't updated yet, and we have a meeting a week from tonight.
Okay.
So I'll say, I haven't heard any comments back about the online one yet, but.
And on a little bit of a separate note, Amy gave Roland a bunch more copies
Oh, okay.
of what we had, so we didn't have to have any more printed.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just trying to hold off, and maybe that can be enough to get them through.
Yeah.
The Horse Hill needs more maps, and I'm just hoping that we've got enough left over that we can get through without going out and spending another $300-400 to get a whole bunch more reprinted, and then have this available.
Right.
So we're just please make sure that I'm not ignoring them. We're just trying
okay,
to
yeah.
we're trying to make sure we can get this one given to them, and then that's going to be we can have them printed out.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. That's that. All right, so new business. Cindy, you want to talk about this for a second?
Yes. So, as part of the new bills that have come out this year, well, I don't think they're actually assigned bills yet. I think they're still LSRs. But there's one that related to beavers. Of course, beavers. I like beavers, so beaver protection, and just because it kind of goes along well with what we have done, so the bill would change the current RSA to kind of require anybody really to try non-lethal methods, of like we did with our flow devices, and it would also require Fish and Game to basically promote these, because I think it says, the executive director shall provide advice, and now with this bill, they would have to provide advice about the non-lethal methods. And since we did that huge study with GSA, GZA, sorry, thank you, with GZA, they pretty much concluded that, that killing the beavers is just a temporary solution, and that what we've done, what we followed their advice was a better, a longer term solution. So, so there's a group that's wanting, to promote this bill. So they're asking, basically for endorsements on this. So if we decide we do want to endorse it, do we want to just send that, or do we want to write a letter, tell them about our study? And I don't know what committee it's going into yet. It'll probably go into a committee. I don't know if it would be this month.
I think the wording of the bill really follows our, what we follow.
We did.
My only question is, this includes private property?
All,
Yes.
yes. All dams and beaver
Yeah.
houses and, yeah,
It's a tough one.
yeah, it is. Because even then, you think about, like, right now, it's fur-bank season. So on private property, I can't hunt.
You can't what?
It's fur-bank season.
Yeah, but this doesn't. I think that's different though. I think this is related just to the beaver dams themselves.
Like problems with them, like
Yeah.
flooding or?
Because the RSA is relative to the protection of beaver impoundments. So they still. I mean, it's not that you couldn't. I don't believe so.
So look at line
That you
16.
couldn't trap them anymore.
Look at the first two words of the added line.
Well, deemed dissolution of last resort. So, I mean, they're not saying you can't.
Right.
It's just
Yeah,
saying that
but
you should try with the flow devices or some other method
The
first.
things, a hunter is not concerned about flow.
Well, right, but that's not why they're out there. I mean, I think this is different than, I think that the trapping, I mean, I don't think people go out and shoot them, but they might, I don't know. But I think generally trap them for fur bear. But I think that that's a different RSA. Because this doesn't talk about trapping in general.
Oh, no, it's
That's
definitely.
a different RSA.
Yeah, the fur-banking is a differently,
Yeah.
its own rules and regulations, yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the way somebody could get around it if they really wanted to, but, I also see this as like an educational thing to,
And it's a good policy for sure.
What were you going to say, Gina?
No, they have something down on line 28 and 29 about skins and unskinned carcasses, so, I mean, they seem to be taking that into consideration. There's an RSA 210:8.
Right, and that's part of the original law.
Okay, so that might be your hunting loophole.
You don't need a permit for beaver. I take it you just go out and shoot a beaver.
Oh,
It's
no,
not
you
like-
need to be,
Well-
you need to be a trapper. You need to be a licensed
yeah,
trapper in the
you have to be a
state.
licensed
Okay.
trapper, but,
Unless you're a homeowner dealing with issues on your own private property.
Okay.
You don't need anything.
Except if it's a hawk. It's a hawk, you can't.
Well, no, dealing with beaver impoundments.
Right.
Because you can, as a private homeowner, if it's on your property, you can be sued if you're causing a problem on someone else's property because you haven't taken care of the dam or the
Really?
beaver. Yeah.
Okay. Good to
And
know.
so that's what I'm saying, is that there's a lot of, there's a lot.
well, you can also be sued if you release chemicals on your property
Well,
and
yeah,
it goes
well,
into your,
Right. What I'm saying is,
so we're still
like
all connected.
you look at, we've got property that, there's a gentleman that he manages the dam because we ask him to. It doesn't impact him at all. It's impacting his neighbors. So he goes over there and regularly deals with issues. It's on private property.
Oh,
So, I mean, that's something that would, potentially have to stop.
oh, I don't know about this situation.
sorry.
Yeah.
Pandora's box.
Yeah, I know.
But,
Well, it's the same. I mean, but this is, there's people that manage it well.
Huh.
So I
If
just-
you're having to do the same thing every year, is that really managing it well?
Works for him.
Well,
Works for all his neighbors. And he's not spending $2,000-$3,000 to put any flow
to
devices.
do one time. Yeah, but there's grants out there too. There's another company that has a grant that will help, homeowners put these in. I mean, beaver just are so important.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they're,
I mean, we think that there's always going to be another one to take its place, but what if there isn't?
So Cindy, what are you looking for us to do?
Endorse.
Well, yeah, I'd like to endorse it. And like I said, I don't know if that would just mean, giving our name or, and in saying we did this big study and this is our policy, we've put all these flow devices in.
I like the encouragement to do this. I just don't know if I like the Pandora box that opens for private homeowners and stuff. But there is that that little line that says, line or two that says that they can trap. What line was that?
30, 28, 30, something like that on the
Yeah.
first page.
Skins or unskinned carcasses taken under this section shall be sealed pursuant to RSA. There must be a hunting RSA. What is that?
The
For
trapper,
trapping?
yeah.
I mean, right from the top of this, prior to the numbering, it says relative to the protection of beaver impoundments. So this is more about the dams than the beavers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not this markup at all, it's just in general, the ambiguity in some of the laws that we pass, not, I mean, take the dam behind the middle school. You could go up there and you could show 50 people that dam right there. Half of them are gonna say, people did it. The other half are gonna say, it just broke. Who's right? And who enforces that? I mean, how do we, we've cleared away all sorts of woody debris across inlets all over town. We do it all the time. Is that put there by a beaver, or is that just there from flow? And there's just going to be the amount of ambiguity in this and enforcement ability. I just don't know if it's, I don't know how they're going to enforce this.
Well, I mean, if they don't enforce it now, I guess,
Yeah, I guess
and they
that's
don't
true.
enforce the next one, what's the difference, But,
Well, they wouldn't enforce it, I don't think.
Well, that was the first thing I thought about, was the dam behind the school. I mean, I was out on the road that night in the rain, because it was just been raining so hard, when that thing let go. I mean, there's no beaver up there, there's no food up there, there's nothing. It let go. It had been abandoned by the beaver for a long time, and that pond it rained so hard. That was when that cauldron down here in front of the police station was absolutely full. I don't know if you ever see that. There was so much water coming down the Sauhegan that right in front of that bridge, it was full. There were people kayaking on the other side of it because the water was blasting out that tunnel hole. It was just amazing.
wow.
And running over Babusick Lake Road, there's that little gully right there over by the school. It's up over my ankles running across that whole road. Those pipes washed out everything. The amount of water that came down that hill, and it just happened to be while they were building the school. So everyone thinks that the contractors were up there let the dam go. It had nothing to do with it. But so you blew in the face. People won't believe you. And I think that's the same thing that's going to happen here. A dam lets go, or the neighbor's going to go, oh, they did that. And they want to get rid of the beaver. And it's not just this lot. It's, you can pick apart a lot of them. I don't know, do we want, as a group, we want to support this? Do we want to give them comments? Do we want to?
So, here's a real life situation. This week I'm out on Loop Trail, and the trail's completely flooded. So I pull down a layer of that dam and apply some of that to a wall that protects the trail. According to this, I can't do that now.
You need a permit.
I need a permit. So what I did
Or that's how I read it.
this past weekend, I would need to seek permission on our trails to protect our trails.
Well, do you consider what you did breaching it? I know you
Yeah.
removed some stuff, but you
I tried to breach it.
tried to breach it.
But listen, no person shall destroy or disturb or interfere in any manner.
Yeah. And breaching should be done in a gradual manner. There wasn't much gradual about what I was doing.
Well, town employee.
I think this would be, as much as I love the beavers too, I think this is gonna be one of those bills where people would be, the old saying that it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. I think that's gonna be one of these. People are just gonna see a situation, they're gonna deal with it, and then somebody else is gonna say, you weren't supposed to do that, and they're gonna say, I wasn't. So, I think it would be hard to enforce.
Yeah. Well, but yes, I agree with you. But again, we're looking into it as, I think, more as citizens than we are as, because it's like, why even put something in place if you can't enforce it? But that's not really the question here,
Right.
Because this is a bill. I mean, this is an RSA now, and they're just trying to change it. So it's not like it's something new.
Well, and quite honestly, it looks like what they're trying to change is to take protection of beavers out and just make it more about the impoundments. Because it looks like up here, they're like, we're gonna take out the word beaver and put in beaver impoundments.
You gotta have thoughts, Tim. Come on.
So, I'm going to take a slightly different stance then. So, last time we submitted a letter in support of legislation or regulation, we were submitting a letter to join other conservation commissions. I'm a little leery of joining a group that I'm not familiar with. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would be more inclined to support other conservation commissions, or I would be more inclined for the commission itself to, when the bill starts coming up, to submit our own letter
Yeah.
to our
fine.
legislators and or the committee or whatever as appropriate. But right now, I'm not all that keen on submitting something to someone I'm not quite sure how they're going to use it. Okay. So.
Oh yeah, we could definitely go right to the
that's-
committee.
That's one.
I mean-
That's one step. So then the other part is that. So if you wanted to do something to support the legislation, direct to the legislators.
Right.
If you want to draft something that we can take up, I don't know, at a future meeting for approval, then that would be good. But I'm not sure there's anything I want to do today.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. Good.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Are you gonna keep track of this?
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, it doesn't even have a bill number yet. Well, I don't believe so. I didn't look at the website today, the government website, but I mean, I know they just went back into session recently, so now these all have to be assigned bill numbers and then assigned committees and.
You want to just table it for now?
Yeah. But it is interesting. Thank you very much for finding it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is there any other way that we can track besides going on the state?
I'm not aware. I don't think.
Okay. There's not a group.
but you can go to this website.
Well, this group will, yeah.
The vow.
I mean, I know the people involved in this.
You should have another sheet that looks like
So-
this, Matt.
Yeah. I mean, I believe I'm on their email list, and I know the people,
How
so.
surprising.
They have a Facebook page, so I'll go on their Facebook page
Yeah.
and see if they have.
Yeah,
any
they have a whole website. There's not a lot on their website, but they have a whole website, so.
But once it gets assigned to a committee, then I believe you can go to that committee's site and watch what their schedule of agenda topics. And when
Yeah,
they're gonna
oh,
take
yeah,
things
yeah.
up, so,
Yeah, I mean, I can track it and see when it's going to the committee,
right.
and who's on the committee, what committee it is. I don't even know what committee it'll go through, but,
Well, we'll table this for now, and you can just keep us updated?
yep,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Something else you
I
want to
just said thank you,
Oh, okay.
Cindy.
All right. So, other business. Well, the website update. You want to get into that, Tim? It looks good.
So the new site's launched. You can go there and see it. I've run it from mobile devices and my iPad and different computers. It seems to work the way we want it to. Does anyone seen any issues?
No, I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just noticed the calendar didn't have our meetings on it.
It does now.
Oh, it does now?
Yeah, Gage
Oh.
made that update.
No, well,
I did.
Cindy did that. Cindy did.
I did.
Someone did.
I did that yesterday.
Cindy did it.
So, yeah.
I like it.
So, just so you know, too, making update their calendar is pretty easy. And so if you have anything you want to put on there, like, any events that we want to host or thing, if you let me know or let Cindy know, because she seems to be able to find the time to do it, which is great.
Well, I figured out how to upload it from
Any walks or
Excel or a
anything?
CSV file.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Oh, I'm sorry. I could have sent
Oh,
you
is
that.
it?
I could have sent you that.
Well, the one thing,
The formats. You got to get the format right.
yeah, the only thing that didn't work was the end time. I had a column for start time, a column for end time, and when I went in and looked, it had 6:30 to 6:30. So I did have to go
Yeah,
in.
you got to
change
make sure all
those.
the columns are formatted correctly. Mm-hmm. Like it's got to be in the default time format.
Okay, so maybe
So
that's why I didn't.
yeah, because I
But-
took me a long time to figure that out one time.
Okay,
first
no
started.
wonder, yeah. But,
Yeah, it's the only thing about the. So if you're looking at it with a tablet or an iPad and you're looking at it in vertical mode, you sometimes have to slide the page right to left in order to see all the information.
I don't have a tablet, so.
oh, okay.
I sent it to, the link to it to my neighbors that I have emails to, and I got a couple comments, positive comments
Yeah.
about it.
Okay. So constructive comments we want to start gathering, so that way when we have, or comments that lead to updates or things we want to change, because what's coming next from Wendy is a proposed contract for our quarterly updates. Remember how we had talked about having them, giving them, paying for so many hours every quarter for them to do work? Wendy and I are working out the mechanics of what that's going to be and get a contract in place. And then we can go from there, so.
Would you please tell her I'm not ignoring her? It takes a long time to go through pictures.
Okay, yes. I told her I was working on
I'm just
pictures,
going
too.
through pictures. I'm like, okay, good,
Right.
yes, no, yes. And you got to open them up, look at them, drag them, put them back. So
Yeah.
instead of just sending her one or two at a time, I wanted to try to send them, here's everything I got.
Well, that's good. You have a lot to
Yeah.
Yeah,
go
okay.
through.
I've been doing the same thing. I haven't been
Well,
ignoring her, but
I know. That's what the woodpecker pictures. I wasn't sure if that could be,
Wi-Fi as well.
it's,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
technically,
I mean, that's the thing. If we have pictures,
and that was,
I suppose she might be able to generate another just wildlife in Merrimack. It's not part of the properties. If you
Well, that
people's
could go-
backyard.
that could go on the main page.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
maybe I'll ask her if she would like to have just a general.
Just a
bucket.
general, because
Yeah.
we've got pictures of bear in people's backyards,
oh yeah.
so
Yeah.
munching on a bird feeder type thing. So
Okay.
there's no reason that we don't. That would be at least interesting.
Right. So the page is up. She's putting together some tutorials for us to be able to edit it, so we can do minor edits ourselves. She said the software is updated, so it's a little different than before, and I think Gage and I are the only ones who've ever edited it in the past. So
and I was good at screwing it up.
So she asked that we wait for the information to be together before we try and do any changes, and I said, no problem.
Whoops.
So beyond that, I think we're nearly done with that phase of the contract. I would expect billing and all that to happen shortly, so. And then maybe in February, we'll take up the sustainability contract, or whatever you want to call it, so, sustainment contract.
Oh, good.
Okay. So,
No, I know that was a lot of work. Thank you for following that through. 'Cause it looks great. It really does. I think it looks great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks great. Very refresh compared to what it
Modernized.
more modern. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it looks really good. Thank you.
All right. You got anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Next couple items, next item there is more of a FYI. The 25th Annual Carnival, Winter Carnival is coming up. Right now it's slated for February 25th, 12 to 3 p.m. at Wasserman Park. We have in the past had a booth there. I don't think we didn't do it last year. If anyone wants to man a booth, we can, we'll probably have some decent maps by then. And what we've done in the past is literally just go to NRPC and just, we can get a map of Merrimack with all the conserved properties, and it's just an FYI for people to even know we're there. If we have some good maps now, that might be something worthwhile. So if anyone's got the bandwidth and would like to man a booth, let me know, and we can get in touch with Parks and Rec and commandeer some space.
You say if you have the bandwidth?
Time.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Corporate speak.
Been a long time.
I work for an internet company, can you tell? All right. The Land Conservation Investment Program. Was that the one you want to talk about?
So, about the grants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you want to start, I think we should start having like a little, whoever can make it, start having like meetings to put together applications.
Okay.
And like, I don't know, like every 2 weeks or something, starting like now. I don't know.
So we have to see the strings that go with these,
Right.
because we need to understand what we're obliging ourselves to do once we accept the monies.
Yeah.
Because in the past, that's been very controversial in this town. So LSIP, which is the old program that we bought Wasserman under, a lot of people even now, don't have the desire to do that, to use that kind
Is
of
that the
program.
annual walk you have to do?
Yep.
Well, not just that, there's certain restrictions that go along with it, what you can and can't do, and all that. So LCHIP is the current version of that program, and
So is that something you're saying?
LCHIP was denied. LCHIP funds weren't used to purchase Horse Hill because the selectmen at the time didn't like the strings that went with it. So we need to be careful of what we're doing.
And that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although it was unfortunate now, right? When you look back, because that would have helped us had the pipeline continued. Would have offered us more.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
The level of protection.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that's something I guess we have to decide if there's too
Right.
many restrictions or
Yeah.
things like that. Do we not want to go after that grant?
Yeah. So is it
They
possible?
all have some, I think.
Is it possible for you to put together a spreadsheet, something that says this grant is due now, and these are the
I almost have
obligations?
that, right?
We have to update it for, when we originally did it, all of the 2016 information was still there. They hadn't flipped over to 2017.
So,
So we'll update that.
I know March is a big time, March and May.
Can you share that with us?
I know the ARM funds, the pre-proposals due in March.
Yeah.
Aquatic Resource Mitigation Funds. New Hampshire Land Community Heritage Investment Program.
LCHIP.
Yeah, that's LCHIP. New England Forest and Rivers Fund, NFWF, National Fish and Wildlife Federation. That's a $50,000 to $200,000. But that probably that's a federal one. That's that one where they're storing riparian habitat, water quality, and bald eagle habitat. Then, and so everybody didn't see that.
Yeah,
I sent this to you two.
Yep.
And then New Hampshire Moose Plates. And then River Trails and Conservation Assistance Program. It's U.S. National. And it has phone numbers and emails, so we can actually contact them and get actual dates. But I know March and May is pretty popular, so I think we should try to get the stuff done by March.
That means we have to start doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get
That was his point.
and then I had mentioned the email earlier that I think some of these are going to require, if we want South Greater Road relocation, they're going to want to know details of that and an estimate of the cost and stuff like that in the application. I think some of these will.
Yeah. So if you could share the details of what the grants can be used for, and what the restrictions are, and what the deadlines are, because and then ship that out so we can all look at it, because the only project I know of offhand that we've there's two projects we've openly discussed that I'm aware of, and that is the Greater Woods, South Greater Road relocation that we've already have done laying stuff out for, and then there's the Fields Farm canoe launch and stuff like that.
You might want to take a look at this for a second. Let's pass that down. I can send that out to everybody. I just didn't know if I could or not, so I only sent it to you two.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not on there is the state Fish and Wildlife. Now there were other grants, but after reading through them, they just looked too cumbersome, like you said, with things, or they looked too hard to get and too little money, and so I eliminated, a bunch, and I kind of put the three things down and grants that went along with those three things that I thought went along with them.
Yeah.
And some of them are you have to decide it goes with one or the other.
So the canoe ramp at Fields Farm, what was the other thing?
We're not mentioning the.
Location of South Greater
Yeah.
Road.
Yeah.
Well, what used to be South Greater Road, it's no longer.
And the third
that road
thing
has
we're
now
not
been
mentioning
ended.
right now.
That
Okay.
portion of the road's been
Just this.
dissolved, so.
South Greater Trail.
Okay.
Suppose we should start calling
Actually, it's part of Gateway, isn't it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, I guess actually, yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, technically, I guess it's, we never, that's always been the question, is where does Gateway end?
Yeah.
so really that Fields Farm, the only, the really good match I think I found for it was the Rivers, Trails, and Conservation Assistance Program. And because the ARM funds was matched up with the other two, so we had to just make decisions too, which, and that might be off. Maybe Fields Farm, I don't know, maybe
Okay, so.
that might be next year instead of this year. I don't know.
So while we're on the subject of Fields Farm, the town has pushed their Severance Bridge repair out a year. They were thinking of doing it in budget year 17-18. Now it's looking at 18-19, which means they're not going to pay any attention to it till spring of 18. It's getting ready for budget year.
Yep.
The next budget year. So the town just said, hey, we're pushing everything a year on that. So I think we should push the Fields Farm a year and concentrate on the relocation of South Greater Road, or the extension of Gateway Trail, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I thought
I think that's
that might happen.
but that one, then we need to coordinate with Don and Kyle as to when they think they'll be ready to give us supporting information that we'll need for the application. And then what do we need for the initial app, and then if it gets approved, what is the long-term app? What's that going to be?
Maybe we could, I think you can't meet on a Friday, right? Maybe we could meet on a Friday, or,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can be available next Friday. Not this week, the week from Friday.
I'll check and make sure.
I'm sorry, I can be available this week, Friday. I'm sorry, I got that
This
backwards.
Friday? So what's
2
today's
weeks
the
from-
9th? What is it, the 14th, 13th? I don't know why that doesn't sound good.
oh, not this week, but next week.
So a
Friday
week
the
from Friday.
13th.
Yeah, so that would be more, right?
This week is Friday the 13th.
So it would be the 20th?
20th.
No, I'm sorry, the 13th I'm available, or the 27th I'm
Okay.
available.
Do you want to, yeah, look, try to meet this Friday, start to go,
What time?
would that be all right?
What time?
Yeah. Is the afternoon okay?
If it's early,
Early in the
I
afternoon?
mean, yeah, because I have to be home by 3:30.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, like 12:30 or something?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
I will check.
And if not, and some other time works, send that.
Okay.
Yeah, so you,
So that's this Friday, is that what or did we pick?
yeah, right, because
Friday
you're,
13th.
instead of waiting another 2 weeks, or,
Yeah.
right?
Do we
Okay.
just want to meet
We're gonna meet,
here?
we're gonna meet here?
Yeah, downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, because everything we need to look at is down there.
Okay, sounds good.
So the only thing that's not on here is, which is renewing, is the New Hampshire Fish and Wildlife. That's the only other thing I can think of. There's all those grants, but a lot of them just didn't make sense.
Right. Okay, I'll see what I can update on there too.
And all the other grants that you thought weren't, if you have that data electronically, can you just include that somehow, just so we have the full array? I mean, I don't want you to do a whole lot of extra work, but
It'd be nice to know the things that we X'd out, so if someone comes
Yeah.
across it again and says, oh, have you thought about this, you can say yes.
or
This is
I
why.
might have a list of.
that or a small project pops up.
Yeah, my husband put it in
Yeah.
what, Excel or something like that. I'll bring the hard copy and we can figure out what we're gonna do, because I don't know how to use the program, so my husband's been doing it,
I
so.
see, okay.
So we'll figure it out and then I'll bring it home and let him do his magic stuff.
Well, we thank your husband for his magic.
I will do that.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Subcommittee updates? We got anything? Have there been any meetings since our last?
Well, no, just that we're having a meeting a week from tonight in this room at 7 o'clock. Since we're talking about the subcommittee, as far as the map, so are we going to be approving the maps piecemeal, or are we waiting the new, formats, or are we doing everything at once? Like, should I ask the subcommittee, I can send the map out to everybody, tomorrow or tonight, and should I say, please have your comments at our next meeting, or?
That's a good question. I don't see as though there's any reason to wait for all of them to be done before we say we want to use one. If we, if everyone likes the Horse Hill map the way it is, and I don't think there's any reason we can't start using it.
Okay.
We're gonna,
We'll certainly get feedback if we put it out there.
yeah,
Oh, right, that's true.
good or bad.
That's right.
So your meeting's on the 16th? Here?
Yes.
Civil Rights Day? You sure the offices are open?
No.
They're not, well, does
Town
New
hall's not open.
maybe have another way in? I thought we've met on those times before.
There's nothing posted.
It's not on the, not posted where? On the town?
Oh, yeah, that is.
Oh, on our, well, I just posted them, yes. I posted the Horse Hill same time as I posted the MCCs yesterday.
Yeah, that's
and then
our calendar, so just
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
ours. Yeah, well, we can add anything that want to that.
We can put anything we want on there.
But I asked Amy to add them to the town calendar
You may want to double check on that.
last week or this week.
Yeah, you may want to just double check that we're going to be open.
Okay. That he has a way to get in.
So we have to have it up the street at the annex. All right.
So the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee meets on the 24th. My intention was to go over the map, because what you'll notice is that the trails that are on the GIS site that NRPC put together compared to the trails map that we currently have, there's a lot more trails on the NRPC site than the ones that we were advocating.
Oh, for the Wildcat.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Wildcat Falls, there was a bunch that we wanted to close down and not maintain, and they all appear on the NRPC site. So the question is are we going to make some of those official trails, or are we going to curtail what the NRPC has? I wanted to get a feel from the subcommittee, but I think our general consensus so far, at least it was last time we approved the Wildcat Falls map, was to take them off.
Take them off. Yeah.
So.
Unless there's some compelling reason to change that, I don't think
Right,
that.
so that's why I want to meet with the subcommittee just to see, but I can tell you from spending time out on Wildcat Falls Conservation Area last week, I spent quite a few hours out on one afternoon. Everyone is still using those unapproved trails, even in the winter. They're getting used.
It's a good time of year to.
Vertical mulch?
This is a great time of year to see what
Yeah.
Yeah.
is
What's
what.
getting used,
What's
yeah.
being used, yeah, yeah, because the diehards are out there. The casual walkers, the ones that if you put a sign up that says, unmaintained or don't use, they would adhere to it. But the ones that have always used the trail that goes along the river, that causes erosion and other issues, they're out there. They're going straight up some of the hills when they're all done and everything, so, yeah. So I wanted to address it with the subcommittee first, just to get their feeling so we can make a recommendation back here. So that and a project of note, we're going to discuss more about the birding opportunity.
good.
Okay, I know you were interested in that. So I also got a note from Chris Christensen, who knows of someone in town who also has done birding before, and it might be someone who could help lead something or do something. So
That would be fun.
I'm going to follow up with that now that the holidays are over and see what's there too. So, okay.
Okay. Anything, Matt?
The Greater Woods meeting is the Tuesday the 17th, so a week from tomorrow, and it will be downstairs in the community development room.
Okay.
And I also plan on bringing them the preliminary map and
There is one?
probably show them the Horse Hill map as well and the changes that we suggested, and see if, there's something like that they want to do on ours.
Oh, so they're starting to come out with one for Greater Woods? They're starting to put it together?
Yes.
Great, excellent.
Yeah. See, Matt, I haven't seen Matt out there for a while. I think he's pretty much done gathering data.
I think so too.
Good.
The most recent update that we have is we started a layout of a trail that runs from Silverfish up to the Wapak outlook. So, kind of started and piecemeal. Everybody from the subcommittees has gone out and or is in the process of, or has gone out and looked at it. So
That's a rewarding walk.
sure is.
You get up there. Have you guys been up there and seen the view when you get up there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been up there many times.
it's worth to go. It's worth going on that walk. Oh yeah, I know you know, but
Yeah.
it's worth going on a walk just to get up there and look out there and just like, wow, this is
The
great.
sun sets right there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
You get to see west. You can see all the hills, the mountains.
So
You're-
can
you're-
see
you're
Wildcat
up.
Trail.
You're way up, looking out. It's a great.
Right on the Amherst Merrimack line.
It's a great spot. Okay. One thing we, side bars. We need to get. We need to do something with the outdoor education center.
Yeah.
We kind of consider that Greater Woods. It's town property. It's it meets up with part of it meets up with the town section of the meets up with the easement that we manage for the school. But the kids, the benches were old and not in great repair, and now they're really not in great repair. They've been turned into a bike park.
Really?
Yeah.
And they've been turned into toboggans going
Toboggans,
down
yeah,
the sledding hill.
Yeah. So they're, which is fine. They were not in great shape, so we can't really complain about it at all. So, but we need to come up with some other plan to make that because right now it's unusable, and we keep talking talking with the school about using it again, and they can't right now. So, but all right. Did the neighborhood ever get back to you? I know you kind of offered to them about maintaining that parcel over there, getting a group of them together to maintain that parcel, part of Mitchell Woods and Watkins Forest. Did they ever take you up on any of that at all?
Yeah.
Even remotely interested in that? That's too bad. All right. This is kind of, which actually goes, was actually kind of, before Tim told us that the canoe launch has been pushed back a year. This is, I figured this would be a good opportunity, the Sauhegan Sustainability Fair. I sent you all you all get this. This is more just, again, like a little FYI. It's just interesting. Something, it had some interesting discussions going on there. I think this might be kind of interesting to go to. So, if anyone wants to go, that's the invite.
Okay.
I would imagine they probably have some input on grants and things. I'm sure the people that would be there may have some information on grants and everything.
Barbara sent me a list of stuff too.
Okay, good. 2017 meeting dates, they're all on there. Cindy gratefully has put them up on the website, our website, so thank you very much, Cindy. But it's an FYI there for us. The minutes.
I've got a couple of other things, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead, sorry.
So two things. I mentioned I took a walk around Wildcat Falls. I did see a couple of places where people are shortcutting some trails and tried to put some vertical and horizontal mulch to prevent that. In the winter, some people might think it's not a big deal, but if it gets used enough, when the weather changes, it becomes a mud spot, and then all of a sudden it's a new trail. So I did some of that. The benches that the LaRome Foundation put out are really cool. They're nice benches. They're if you've seen the ones on the trail going from the high school all the way to the dam, they're the same kind of makeup. So slightly different decking or whatever, but they're nice. They're in a good spot. So that was nice to see. It doesn't look like at this point they've done any brush clearing on the power lines, but this year. But it looks like it was done recently, so I'm not sure they'll be back out there this year or not. So, and then beyond that, I was there on New Year's Day. It's kind of been something I've done for many years in a row. I just go out there on New Year's Day, and this year I was amazed at how many people I ran into. Now, the weather was fairly decent. It was like a 30-degree day or something like that. Crisp, clean air, nice blue sky, and I lost track of how many people I ran into when I was out there. So it was just that busy. The parking lot when I drove in had 3 or 4 other cars in it. When I left, it had 6 or 7 other cars in it. And I was there for the afternoon, getting close to dark. So it definitely gets a lot of use. But even with all those cars, you have to really be moving around to run into people, because it's big enough where you can spend a lot of time without seeing anyone. So I did go off our property onto the state property and walk up along the highway side, just so I can get an idea of what kind of use is going on out there. Granted, it's not our property, but eventually it might fall under us. It's clear that the snowmobilers have been out. I suspect it's the same people. I didn't follow it all the way to its point of origin, but it looks like it's the same group or family that's done it over many years, traveling the same trails. They get close to wetlands. Are they in the wetlands? I don't know. But it's not our property, so. But I didn't see any abuse. So, granted, at that time there was only a few inches of snow. And, in fact, we had some fresh snow, so it was kind of cool. You could see. What surprised me, though, at this time is I didn't see a lot of deer sign. And I've seen that more in the past, where there's a few hemlock groves and stuff like that, especially on the state property. Didn't see any sign at all of the deer wintering or spending time in there. So didn't see any signs of scraping or anything like that on trees or brush or anything. So maybe the deer have moved on. Maybe the menu doesn't fit their needs anymore. I don't know. So because I'm used to spooking deer, especially around the wetland area and the hemlock groves that are on the state property. So, and like on the day after Christmas, I was out on Greater Woods, Skyline Trail, and in what we call the donut hole, and I spooked quite a few deer. All of a sudden, I'd hear a noise. I look and I see this white tail just bouncing away from me. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's right in the yard area. That's where they spend their time.
Yeah. So, and then as we commented earlier throughout the meeting, the donut hole, there's considerable logging's gone on, but they have left, I think, enough trees so they could go back in. The trees could regenerate. It looks kind of bare up there, but if you remember, that forest up there was a young forest, meaning it's only 10 to 15 years old. And when you clean out the trees that are up to 24 inches, I think that was about the biggest stump that I saw when I was out there. You know, it's young, so they got good wood, but they left a lot of smaller stuff behind. Especially stuff that was on ridges where it was difficult for the machine to get up there, grab, cut, and yank, and pull down, because you could tell that's the kind of machinery they were using.
Fuller buncher?
What's that?
A fuller buncher?
Fuller buncher?
Yeah, they weren't cutting by hand. They were just,
No.
Was
not at all.
it they were using?
I didn't see none of the machines were there when I was there the day after Christmas. The only the guy that you could tell that's what he was doing.
It goes up. It's got that spinning disc in the butt. It goes up and grabs it, just cuts right through. And
Yep.
I think
That's what it looked like, the machine that we're
it's
using.
a fuller buncher.
Yeah. But I didn't see the machine itself. It just the marks that were left behind and the way it was cut. It seemed obvious that it was a pure mechanical method that was being used.
Tractor vehicle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
there, I think there's. I went. My wife and I went for a walk. We call it the Big Loop, but we went over to Height of Land and over come out by the Ridge Trail and back around to the house. And we didn't notice. We noticed the signs of cutting by South Greater Road and all that, but there was no cutting coming down off the Height of Land. And then when I went just a few days ago, this is only a week later, there was this cut. There was like a lot of cutting.
So I noticed when I was out there that they had stayed away from the hemlock groves. They hadn't really gone in and done much there, and they had stayed away from wetlands when I was out there, because I was looking for all
I didn't
that.
see that. I didn't see them in wetlands.
Yeah, so,
Now, how do we tell, like, I can't tell out there if they encroach on our property or not.
Marked it.
they marked one of the borders fairly well. The back border is marked from Height of Land going south to
Last gate.
to the power lines. That whole line is all marked. So, and they used the power lines in north. They didn't go south of the power lines at all, even though they actually own a sliver on the south side of the power lines. At least that's the way it was when I was out there. So, it wasn't as well marked on, like along Skyline. I didn't really see many markings in there. But I wasn't looking, and they weren't really working in that area, so maybe they're marking as they go, but, so, I don't know if you noticed any markings near Skyline.
I noticed orange
Yep.
tape,
Yep.
like up high,
Yep.
along the line that I knew was our new boundary since we purchased those two.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I think they're trying to be careful. Yes, there's a lot of trees down, but it's not clear cut.
Yep.
So,
Which is what we were concerned about.
right,
And I think their initial foray in there, and then the fact that they got noticed pretty quickly about a butter's property and fixing the road, and all, I think that probably kind of may have changed it a little bit.
certainly put them on notice.
Yeah, they're watching.
Yeah.
I think it's changing daily too.
Yeah.
It changed a lot in that week when I went.
Yeah. So that's all I wanted to mention.
So while we're on properties, I guess I have a couple things too. So I think the one thing about Wildcat Falls is the coming up from the Merrill's Marauders Bridge. You used to come straight up along the river and go straight up that hill. Now you go up and you take a 90-degree right and head up this way. Some people still go up straight, which is really washed out. The right hand turn, that's starting to get eroded. So I really think that we need to do something, because there is no
There's no good path.
third option. There's no, once this one got washed out, they just went right. Once that gets washed, there's nowhere else to go. So I think we're going to need to do some work there. And it's not just the free labor type work.
Yeah.
We're going to need to maybe geotextile that pitch or something.
See, the downside, it's not ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not ours, and it's close to the highway. DOT is going to want to be involved.
So we just do nothing and let it
Yeah,
erode.
We could
we can bring it up to them.
bring it up to DOT and say,
I'm happy to reach out to DOT, the contacts I got a couple of years ago, and when we've multiple times asked to purchase it,
yeah.
we can go back to them.
Maybe ask for a trail easement, and that would give us,
Tried that.
yeah.
Tried that even for the state loop trail, for the loop, the town center trail. Tried to get an easement just for that. They're not interested. They only want to talk about easements or purchase when they're done with the highway widening. Yeah, they pretty clear. Now they're open to giving us access or ownership of the property, but they're waiting for the highway to go 3 lanes all the way through, which Tom spoke to us a couple of months ago and said that they presented a plan to get started in the next couple of years to do that. So yeah, if we think something really needs to be maintained, we can bring it up with them. The downside is they may say, well, we're just going to close it. And then I'll remind them that people are adventurous and it's not going to work.
For your die.
Yep, that's right. If you're not there to patrol, you're not going to stop it. So I'll use that as leverage, but if we're going to ask them to expend funds there, I'm not sure they'll do it.
Well, I don't think it's going to be expensive, but I just think it needs to be done, because even this time of year.
Yeah, you're right. I saw it
Yeah.
when I walked it.
Yeah.
I don't think I took pictures of it. I took a lot of pictures, but I don't think I took pictures of that. Okay, I'll see what their interest level is.
Also in Horse Hill, on Loop Trail, where we're having the beaver issue. Since I believe the subcommittee chose not to reroute the trail
So this is right there under the bridge.
where you had the
We had-
contract.
Yeah, so, I mean, he gave us kind of a path forward, and the committee was gonna do that, right? Did they go through and do that cleanup like they were?
Well, I think that they had looked at it. Well, I mean, I think everybody
No, I can
agreed
answer
to.
no.
Right.
So what has happened is users have built another trail.
Oh,
Yeah, so if that's not gonna get done, then we need to do something about it. Because we can't, putting a flow device down there is just not worthwhile. Because they're just gonna go dam up on the other side of it. You put another device in, it's gonna go dam up again.
Right.
It's too. That's just not a conducive area to a single ponding area. They're just gonna back it up, keep going. We're gonna have like a rice paddy look out there. If we try to do anything. So
What happened is the trail flooded
yeah.
and flooded and then froze. So if you were going to try to walk on that, you not only fell, but you fell into the water.
oh no.
So people put sticks and stuff on the trail
Yeah.
and then built another trail. So I wasn't out there for a couple weeks, and then when I went out, I was like, oh. Like, you know, people had the
Right intention. But
right intentions, but
Right.
so that's the current state. So that's when I tried to wall off so that it wouldn't flood anymore, and I just used the beaver dam to make
Right.
a dam, and it's significantly high. The dams are significantly higher than the last time I had seen them, and I was walking over to the trail, and the beaver 20 feet away from me was rebuilding what I was pulling out while I was walking away. And when I'd go back, he'd go up into the next pond. I'd come back, he'd come back down and start working. And there's 2 of them in that area that were just working. As soon as I walked away, they're working. I'd walk closer, they'd go up.
They come down.
So they're not too concerned about people.
No.
They got a job to do.
Good job today.
And I was
They're on the
just-
clock.
Yeah, I was just an obstacle in their day.
So did they slap their tails and make angry
Nope.
noises like they did with Gage?
Nope.
No, see?
They could care less.
Oh, I saw one come through the ice the other day.
But there,
Yeah.
Wow.
knocking first.
It was by the flow of the dam, so the ice was thin, and we were like, I was telling my wife about the story, your
Yeah.
story, and I'm telling her the story on the deck, and all of a sudden we hear, and this beaver pops through us. I'm like, wow, this time, yeah.
They're pretty cool this time of year.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thoughts on the subcommittee the last time we talked about it was that everything was going to freeze, so we couldn't really do anything until spring. But I think with this strange weather we're having,
The water's not gonna freeze.
where it's
I mean, you'll get a crust on top, but there's enough flow there that's not gonna.
Yeah, and they keep it open. They don't let
Still
it
gonna-
freeze. If you notice, even the real cold days,
yeah.
the center's still open because they're swimming
Oh.
all day.
Oh,
They're
okay.
just keeping that thing open.
Yeah, because there was some buildup under the bridge. Has any of that been removed? Or
No, it's almost up to the bridge. And the water was touching the bottom of the bridge.
Right.
And that pond, the pond below,
Yep.
is highest I've ever seen it. So-
The pond we may be able to put a device in
Down
down below.
by Amherst Road. Close to Amherst Road.
I guess yeah. I guess yeah. I don't know if it really helped at all though. We have to go out and look at it, I guess again. All right.
The snowmobiles are pretty active over there.
All right. Okay. Anybody else got any other business to bring up? No? All right, minutes? Anybody have a chance to review the minutes? Gina, did you get a?
I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't here last time. I wasn't here last time, so.
We still trust your error checking abilities, if you have comments.
Okay, well, I did not read them, so.
All right.
I just had a couple that I saw.
Go
You
ahead.
if you have a bunch of them, why don't you go? Because you probably covered the couple I have.
I don't know if I
We're
would.
gonna make a motion to,
Oh, motion to approve the December 19th minutes with changes.
Second.
Motion by Cindy, second by Matt.
On page 3, row 33, or 32, 33. I mean, I don't know if that might be how, it just, when I read it, it sounds a little strange. When looking at a map of where they are, in actuality, they are all going to overlap.
Page 3, line 20.
So he was talking about the scaling of the map. When you look at it, if we put the GPS coordinates on there, they're all, because those points are so close that they're going to be over each other.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, even though they're physically not, once you put all that text in it, they're going to be overlapping each other.
Okay.
So once you scale it way out and make the map big,
Oh, then you can see
it,
'em,
it would
but-
be, it would scale out correctly.
Okay. Makes
But
sense.
they were going to come back with some changes to that.
Okay, on page 4, row 38, I think we just need to delete remarked. And row 42, change it to Fishers, plural, and delete the cats, because they're not actually Fisher cats.
So this is a transcription of what we've said. So I don't, well, I
I
agree.
didn't say that. I didn't
Okay.
say that.
All right,
So get rid of cats,
get rid of cats.
Yeah,
fishers.
Yeah.
Fishers. And on row 47, change organization to organize. And then on page 5, row 6. I just didn't know if he captured the tree stand. I thought maybe you had said he removed the tree stand.
Captured means he took
Yeah,
possession of it.
he didn't
Oh, is
remove
that
it.
a way?
It was removed by someone else.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I just never heard that he captured, you know.
Yeah.
It sounded fun. But, okay. That's all I have.
Mike, did you get yours?
Mike, you got,
Yeah, she got it.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Matt, you got anything? No? Tim? All right, I've only got a couple here. Page 2, line 7. The dollar figure, I believe that's a decimal point in there and should be a comma.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, good catch.
I'd love to spend $6.50 for that property. That would be awesome. However, and then something we've talked about before in the past, and it's in here both ways. I've already sent a quick note to Dawn to see if she knows the answer. But on page 1, line 48, and on page 2, line 31, we have Mitchell Woods in there twice, once with 1 L and once with 2. So I found it back in documents in town here with 1 L, and I found it back in documents with 2. So at some point in time, we're going to have to just make up a decision and say this is how it's spelled. I know Mitchell Street is spelled with 2, but I just don't know if Mitchell Woods is 1 or 2.
On our website, it has.
And we have
both.
Yeah.
I know.
That's funny.
If you're looking for it, it's
Consistency.
2 L's,
Yeah.
but everywhere it's 1 L.
That's
You can do a search for Mitchell Woods with 1 L and have hits, and you do a search for Mitchell Woods with 2 L's and get hits.
Yeah.
On our website, both.
Yeah.
Too. So,
Well, it's like Spalding,
that's
you know,
amazing.
North
Yeah.
Hill. You got the Spalding where it's
Yeah.
spelled differently, and the road,
Oh,
and
you.
you've got the so.
Oh, there's no U in Spalding?
no.
Well, there is in the road,
Okay.
but yeah,
Spalding Foundation
in the
is-
foundation is
there's no
different.
U.
So,
Ah,
but,
good to know.
So as I said, I sent a quick note to Dawn to see if she knows what the real spelling is, and so if someone knows, we'll find out. And that's all I had.
Well, I can tell you what the town thinks the real spelling is by going to the town code.
Okay. Because I've got town documents that have 1 and 2.
So here's my thought on this. I think the only way to resolve this right, if I'm right, now I'd have to ask the question, but Mitchell Woods came to us through the Twardowski family.
Yes.
And there is a Mitchell
Twardowski. Yeah.
That's right. So if the name is based on his spelling of his first name, that's the answer.
Right. So
Okay.
I have yet to go over and stop by the house. I was going to
Yeah.
go knock on the door and just ask. I'm just, there's got to be one way to solve
Next
this.
time I see Frankie around town, I'll ask him, how do you spell your son's name?
Yeah.
Or Mitch or whatever. So-
He'll probably say, "Ask my wife."
yeah.
Because even then, I've looked.
Unfortunately, she's passed.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah. Because I've looked him up, and again, both ways.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
I can find it in both ways. So
So,
there's gonna have to be someone's just gonna. This is whatever he says. That's the way it's
that's
gonna
the way it's
be.
gonna be.
So
This is like the Friends episode with tartlets. It's like making no sense to me anymore.
all right. So is that all the corrections we have?
Yeah.
All right. So we have a motion to approve. Does everyone want to vote?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstaining.
So we're going to do 501 with Gina abstaining. Okay, again, public comments. Seeing none. I don't know why we had non-public session written on there. I missed it. I should have crossed it off. So we don't have a non-public
We can
session.
have one, though.
Yeah, well, we can't.
We need to.
No, we have to.
Oh.
What do
I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
It's like, well, I was like, do we need to?
Yeah.
So that wasn't, I wasn't planned to be on there, so I apologize for that. I missed it.
Oh, I don't have anything. Commissioner comments?
All right, Commissioner comments? No?
Thank you.
Just quickly, last Thursday, there was a public hearing for the Sauhegan River Trail. Matt and I attended the discussion. They're basically talking about creating an ADA compliant trail that leaves Watson Park and goes all the way to the pedestrian bridge by the Effie Everett Turnpike.
Wow.
So, I mean, that trail, the majority of the meeting was about how they were going to get under the bridge or over the bridge, and what did the public want? The public want is to go under Chamberlain Bridge, which is what has always been the favored approach, anyways. But Matt brought up a really good point. If it comes down to dollars and what we can get for grant money and stuff, that they should abandon the idea of making it ADA compliant all the way leading to the Everett Turnpike, because once you hit the pedestrian bridge, Murata's,
Meals
Murata's bridge. Once you reach that point, it's all non-ADA compliant anyways. So, even though it would be nice to have an ADA compliant path along the river, because that's a beautiful stretch of river. So, but if it came down to it, let's get under the bridge, under Chamberlain Bridge, and get all that in place and do all the right things, so that way we can work on that remaining section, outside of this whole process. I think that was a great idea. So, but they're moving on to the next steps and further planning so they can do the grant requests and stuff like that. And build is scheduled for next year, 18. So, if it goes through, so that'd be really cool.
Who's this group?
So the town center committee has been championing it for the town, but
Yep.
there's now Quantum Engineering LLC, if I got that right, based out of Concord.
Oh.
So they're also doing a bridge project, the Bedford Road Bridge, the one near Pearson Road in the Reeds Ferry School. That bridge needs to be replaced. So they're also leading up that project. So
there's a footbridge there?
well, there is an old bridge that was left in place it's historic in name, and that was part of the reason why they had that discussion at 6 o'clock, was to discuss what that's all about. So, because it's historic in nature. So,
It's a neat old bridge.
Yeah.
If you haven't have had a chance to go look at it, it's a neat bridge.
Yeah, it's a unique set of engineering, and it's the engineering of that bridge that makes it historic and significant. The old bridge. So, but right now that becomes a big choke point. If we have a Mother's Day flood like we had before, that causes the water to wash up over Bedford Road and causes erosion problems for people upstream of the bridge, because it backs everything right up. So they need to take the old bridge out, and both bridges out, and create a new one that goes through there that's much higher, a few feet higher, and spans a lot longer and takes the choke point out of the river. So very similar to what they did on Bean Road and then down here by McGaw Bridge. So, but yeah. So more to come on both fronts, I guess.
Okay. Do you have anything, Mike? I do not.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Passes 6-0-0. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Matt. And it's 8:20. 8:19. We adjourn. Thank you. My watch broke.
Yeah. Maybe they're not watching. You can just say, oh no. Right, they're never watching.